Hey everyone, Scissor here. Welcome to another Marvel's Avengers video. Now in this video I'm going to be going over a full guide on Ms. Marvel. Ms. Marvel is actually pretty fun. She's probably my second or third favorite character currently in the game, and she just has a lot of tricks that she can do. Her and Biggin, she's great support. She can string, and I think probably one of the best jugglers in the game. And there's just a lot of cool, unique things that you can do using her abilities. And I think, especially as you get later on in the game, unlocking everything, and then also in the future, she's going to be very valuable to the team just because of her full supporting abilities, where she can be a healer, basically, keep people's energies up, and also can tank if she so chooses. So let's go ahead and go over the basics and, specific skills and stuff for her. All right, for the first part, I'm just going to briefly go over the basics. So, Ms. Marvel's really good at, juggling and really long combos. Her stretchiness allows her, to string combos and other stuff together that you wouldn't normally be able to do. Like her light attacks, especially when you do like you can, sprint with the spin kick, or dodge with the leg sweep. That can set up combos. And her whirling wallop is really good at like not launching people in the air and getting her in the air to be ready for um, a combo, like her signature double down kick or the hammer fist. So I definitely like doing those, especially the ones where you will go and do the multiple hits, ending with the iron spike. And of course, her catapult kick is really good. She's just overall her attacks, light and heavy attacks, are just really good at setting up combos and keeping combos going. So her ranged attack is great for it has a decent range. Better when you get skill upgrades, which I'll show in a bit. And she can also grab people, and it's really fun. So, it's not something that you'll probably just constantly be doing, but, every once in a while, you grab them, you can squeeze them, slam them down, and you can also will do status damage depending on the enemy type if you get all those upgrades. Now, her abilities, she's really good at support because she's the only character in the game currently that has an actual healing heroic ability. And yeah, it heals you and your teammates, and then the regular upgrades that you don't have to choose puts a healing over time effect on, will automatically revive down teammates and also give them defensive strength. Her assault is this big high five, like just, you know, this big palm strike basically. And you get an extra charge, and then this is based on you can get extra assault energy if you refunds a portion of the assault energy. I mean, if you defeat an enemy with high five, and that the chance of you getting it is dependent on the other effects. Again, I'll go over later. And then finally, her ultimate ability is in Biggin, and that just increases her damage, makes her grow big and impact. And it also changes her light and heavy attacks. It's really strong, and the free upgrades, or I should say the ones you don't choose, increase the duration and the recovery rate of her health. So yeah. Now let me go over the intrinsic ability. So Ms. Marvel's intrinsic ability is polymorph, and it allows you just to bend out of the way of attacks, but also while you hold it down, your attacks will do increased damage and impact. So it's really nice because you can, like while you're holding it, if they're getting attacked, it'll automatically dodge out the way. But if you do it right before getting hit, it'll do a counter, and you can follow up with either a square or a light attack strike or a heavy attack strike. So those are pretty nice. And also, she's got these cool signature abilities. I love the whirlwind attack. It does a lot of damage. Great for area attacks, and the slam is pretty strong too. And one of the biggest things that keeps her, topped up is the Shining Will ability. So while you're in Polymorph, you regenerate 4% of your willpower every second, which is increased from skills, which I'll go over in a little bit. So unfortunately, you can't see my health because of my banner, but while I am polymorphed, uh, I was healing myself. So it keeps you alive, and if you get hit, sadly, while you're polymorph, you lose all that meter, but because of the skills and setup I have, I can get it back pretty quickly, and my heal will also give it back to me. So, all right, now for the actual choice for skills and gear. So I'll just start over at the utility and then just work my way through everything. So in this build, I'm going for a supportive, like area damage type build. Not going like full attack, but survivability and support. So I'm going with the trying to get my heroic energy um, faster, so increase the amount of heroic energy gain from attacks. And then for the other one, I go with stun damage, just because I'm trying to set up the enemies basically, support and stun, and being able to stun and take down enemies will also let me get heroic orbs, as you'll see later. So that's why I go with that. And then I go with the takedowns doing heroic orbs because that'll let me get in big and faster, let me use my high five more, and most importantly, make sure I'm always able to use my heal for those tricky situations. And then for the range section, these are sort of personal preference. I tried them all, and I actually like the range pierce the most because again, I'm going for a group AoE damage type build, so this will actually hit multiple enemies. But also from my experience, I don't know if it's just the way it looks, but it seems to actually go further than the regular ranged abilities as well. So, or the ranged attacks. So that's why I go with that one. And then I go with just not being able to be interrupted from attacks. Um, reduce the cost isn't bad either, or the chance to evade, but I'd rather just not be interrupted while holding them. And then I go with the intrinsic orb. You can go with like heroic and regen packs, but this one is, when you slam or throw a grabbed enemy, it has the highest chance of generating an orb, and her intrinsic ability is still, really important. And I think there's enough heroic orbs coming out from the other skills, so this just gives you more of a chance to keep your intrinsic up, so you can polymorph more. The efficiency is all around, being efficient basically. I go with the willpower regeneration from Shining Will because that'll increase, the amount of healing done while you're in polymorph. Um, then I go with reduce the sustained intrinsic energy cost so I can hold polymorph longer, basically. So as long as I'm holding polymorph, that means I can stay in polymorph longer, and again means I can keep my damage and my healing up for a longer period of time. And then I went with the maximum amount of polymorph meter for all the same reasons. All those together means that I can basically survive longer and stay in polymorph longer. If I have a higher amount of polymorph meter and I'm taking less out, then that just increases the time that I can stay polymorphed. And then for the intrinsic ability, I go with the reduced cost of polymorph attack. This one is sort of personal, I suppose. Even though, so this reduces the cost by 25%, but they still take a lot. So if you feel like you don't really want that or need that, then you can go with the stun damage one for this particular build, or the critical attack chance. But I would, if I wasn't doing this one, I would go with the stun damage one for just more of a reason to, or just more capable of stunning enemies. And then for this one, just increases the recharge rate. So if I have low willpower for some reason I can't heal, then this just means that my intrinsic meter will charge faster, which will then allow me to go into polymorph quicker to heal myself. And then for the last one, I go with the Shining Will, increasing the recovery rate of willpower. The lower the amount becomes, up to 15%. So it's just, you know, the lower your health is, then the more Shining will heal you. So it heals more at lower health. Whoops. And now for the specialty, the choices I go with, I do the extra charge of Healing Spirit because that's nice. The other ones are you can basically self-res yourself, and then fully restore the willpower of teammates. But I feel like the amount that it heals is enough that you don't really need that full healing for teammates. And I think having the extra charge is just more important here. And then for this one, I was using the additional charge. You can have three charges, but I often found that I didn't need the extra charge. If you do need the extra charge, then That's nice because you'll have three. But personally, I like the automatically granting intrinsic energy for allies and yourself because then that allows you to, stay polymorph even more. Or if you get hit for some reason, or not for some reason, but you just get hit and lose all your intrinsic meter, you can always heal to get your not only your health back but your full charge so you can polymorph. For the assault, it's another one of those kind of personal preference things, but for the AOE build, I find that down low is the better option because it can pin multiple enemies. Another option is the large explosion on impact, but I like to be able to pin multiple enemies, so that's why I went that one. And then for this, just another chance for heroic orbs. Believe it's heroic, yeah, heroic regen packs or intrinsic orbs, and I just want more heroic orbs, so I went with the patty cake instead. And then now for the embiggen ability, I go with the duration increasing ones because I want to stay embiggen as long as possible. So extend the duration by 5 seconds, and then the one where defeating enemies will extend the duration by 1 second. So another option is, the damage or the heroic orb, but I just prefer to go full duration extending to try and stay in embiggen as long as possible. So yeah, those are all the choices. Now we're going to go to the gear. Now for gear, I don't quite have all the stuff that I want, but there are some good perk specific ones. This also kind of makes up for the damage with it, with the skills being so supportive. The melee one, for instance. Um, so the one I currently have is increased critical attack damage from polymorph, but the one that you can see the lower one. This is the one that I would prefer because it increases damage from polymorph attacks and increased damage from all attacks while polymorph is active. It seems to be worded differently, but it's the same thing for the most part. They're both polymorph. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. Polymorph attacks are the signature attacks, I believe, and then all attacks while polymorph is active is just while you're polymorph, you're doing more damage. But either way, you're going to be doing a lot more damage while polymorph is active for those. So those are the ones that I would prefer. Um, oh yeah, also before going on the stats, the stats kind of depends, but the defensive stats, resilience, resolve, and then I would say like might would be what you want. I think that's her strongest strength, especially in this type of build. So might, resolve, resilience are kind of what you want to go for with this one. Now for the ranged gear, I hate the way it does that. So, the one I have on now isn't really specific, but they do have some specific perks like increased damage from landing headshots. But, for the most part, it's really up to you. When it comes to elemental ones, there's either the ranged attacks and ranged critical ones, and then there's the one where you hold enemies, which I don't. Yeah, I have one now. So it's really up to you. Uh, I don't do the range attacks as much, but I prefer the ones where you hold enemies. And then for defense, again, I don't have, I'm not lucky enough to get all those great perks, but yeah. There are character specific perks for the defense, but I do not have any. So it really depends on the stats, honestly. If you can get the defensive stats, the suppressed resistance isn't bad, but yeah, I don't personally like the revive ones, just because I don't. Teammates will go down, but I'd rather have like the invulnerability buff. Those are good, or getting the defense buff from parrying. So, or just the straight damage resistant ones like the damage reduction from gamma. The reactive gravity explosion is actually really nice. It is 13.5% chance, but it seems to activate quite a bit, and they literally are just floating in the air, helpless. So that's actually a really good perk to have. And finally, for the last one, this is probably my favorite one. Now mine was only 120, so it's max of 130, but it gives uh, your healing basically a buff. So you get a damage buff when they're affected by Team Spirit, which comes from your healing spirit, which increases all damage by 20%. and then the other one is in critical attack chance bonus by 35%. So it's very very good for support, and that's the Marvelous Crest is definitely the one that I try to get. I do have a 130, but it's not the ones I was looking for. And there's also some other ones for like heroic energy charge rate while polymorph is active. That's also not bad because it'll allow you to get your heroics faster. And then of course the damage from Embiggen. But for this supportive build, this is Marvelous Crest is definitely the way to go for with that one. And the minor artifacts, I don't have any epic ones right now, but again, it's going to be one of those. Look for the stats that you're trying to get, like might, resistance, resolve, yeah, that kind of thing, or might, resilience, resolve. And then for major artifact, Dark Cold isn't bad. I think it's good because you can drain your heroic energy to restore health. Though again, for Ms. Marvel, you don't necessarily need that particular portion of it. But what makes Ms. Marvel good for this one is the Eldritch Invigoration, because then you can drain 50% of your willpower um, to charge all your heroics. So that'll allow you to, even though you have your full health, you can charge that if you ever need to heal. Then you can just use your heal. So even though you lost your health, just use your healing spirit to heal it back up, and it also will allow you to get your embiggen and high five back. So yeah, I think for her, because of her ability to heal, this is a very good one to have. So yeah, Miss Marvel is just really good all around. You can, set her up to be really supportive. You can set her up for, extra damage or even to be a tank. And but my preferred thing is the supportive like area damage dealer, because you can really help the rest of your team out. Whether you're playing her or whether you have her as a companion, you can keep the health up. She can keep her own health up. She can take down to, and a lot of different things to get heroic orbs up for you and your team. And just, yeah, she's just, I think, a really good, um, balanced character, I would say. And just all around, she can do a lot of different things depending on which way you go with her. So, if you liked the video, please give a like and subscribe for future videos. And as always, thanks for watching.